Hello, my name is Jarl, and you know what? I like games a lot. I like Dynasty Warriors, and yes, the title of the video does not lie. This is indeed a story about a amnesiac, black-haired, Japanese-looking school kid that is totally a self-insert character into the Romance of Three Kingdoms. What I mean with this is, he helps every faction, he have good relations with almost every character, and he's influencing the story while having a separate story going on in the background. So yeah, it's about a self-insert fanfiction as you can get, and there's nothing wrong with it. Just that you can't pick any character, you just have that one dude. And sometimes you can switch to another one for a temporary time in battle. So, what is new, you might ask, and I shall answer. So, the combat system has been a lot more streamlined, efficient, and also a bit more samey. No, to be fair, it is also a lot more harder than the previous titles, because in the later years, like 8 and 9, all you had to do was equip throwing fans, throwing daggers, and build up the hit counter and get instant muso in a fight after 10 seconds of spamming the button. But what I have here is each officer has shields over the head. You need to break those shields in order to stagger them so you can start juggling the officers. So in order to do this, you need to dodge, parry and stab them with many attacks. And yes, you can now parry and dodge a step. Yeah, it's a bit more Dark Souls in that way. And of course, you have very reliable blocking, and some attacks can't be blocked. But on top of that, you have you hold down the bumper and click one of the preset special moves, and it goes chunk chunk chunk, haha, you do stuff, and then you win. Eventually. As long as you remember to use and abuse the block button, you will build up a bravery, and the bravery lets you use special abilities. It makes the fight easier than it already is. So, yeah. Other than a handful of specialized boss fights against some very notable characters, it's very easy and samey. Yet it's also more difficult, because the peons actually does damage, interrupt you in fight, and the officers can actually kick your ass if you're not careful. Besides that, there are some huge large-scale operations going on where you have practically 1,000 enemies on the screen at the same time. The gong goes dong dong dong, and you have to fulfill an objective in order to win the mini scenario, to break the formation. In these situations, well, enemies is gonna kick your ass if you're not careful. And also, you have a couple of moves that can only be stopped by bumper and one of the special moves to break it, but to break them. But you will now recognize this based on the yellow glow and enemies charging in. And it's kind of hilarious to see the peons jumping into the fray. So, other than that, you walk around on the overworld, you activate random fights, you do missions, quests, and then participate in historic battles. And for once, at least the scenery is a bit more original, even though you are fighting at a very small part of the small part of China. Yes, you're in a handful of provinces, and apparently the story is not even finished. So, yeah, Wu and Shu and all of those, you fight for everyone. So, the music is fairly decent rock, as it's always been. The voice acting is a bit all over the place, but I just set it to Chinese, and it suddenly becomes a lot more historically accurate and plausible and enjoyable, to be honest, because this game takes place in China. But the NPCs and allies and enemies are talking a lot, which can make it a bit hard to follow the dialogue in combat. Before, dialogue was usually sparse and not interrupting in fights. Here, they're chatting all the time, while you're trying to not get your ass handed to you on a platter. And naturally the handful of levels will become a bit stale after a while. The plot, if you care about that, is just okay, I suppose. Yeah, I'm a peacekeeper with no memory. Ooh. Yeah, tell me if you heard that one before. So yeah, if you like Dynasty Warriors, you might consider getting this one, but I'd wait for it to drop in price. It isn't like there's much to write home about. There's no multiplayer, there is no co-op. There seems to be no challenge modes, mission select, customization, character select, or any such thing. So all you do is switch a weapon and level up your character. I'm Joel, I'm signing out, and I have a Patreon where I'm working on a comic and some other stuff.